Hi everyone! It's been a while that we have not seen each other, and since my last video, it really has passed a lot of time. But I'm sure those of you that follow me on X Crew, and those of you that follow me on my personal account, Airspace Julia, you know that I have been pretty busy this time. I have shifted from my last position that I have filmed a YouTube video, which was area manager at Amazon, to Rolls-Royce, and now I am working as an assistant commercial manager for Rolls-Royce Germany in Berlin. Regarding the change of the job, I think it's pretty much clear that if we are not, or if I was not in the aviation industry, it was kind of understanding that at a certain point in my career at Amazon, I would have tried to shift, and I'm so glad that this has happened earlier than I thought. I have applied and I was lucky to go through the interview, and I'm completing the second month with the company, and I have to tell you that it has been great. Everything that I have studied in the aviation management master studies is actually something that I want. But this video is not going to be about my job at Rolls-Royce and what are the things that I do there. I think the information that I work, everything in accordance with the aviation management master studies, is completely enough, as the topic of my YouTube channel is how you can become a cabin crew or how you can be part of the aviation industry. Should you have any questions or any concerns regarding whether you should shift from one department to another, you may always share your comments here or on my Instagram account, xcrew, and if time permits, I will get back to you. If not, I'm terribly sorry. I'm really busy in my new job. I'm really trying to enroll myself and learn as much as I can. You all know that the 6 months are crucial when you are working in a new company, and there are so many things that you need to learn in order to understand how everything functions. Today's video is going to be something very interesting. There are topics that I have recently touched up on my personal account on Instagram on Airspace Julia, and it is related to in-flight service, it's related to public announcement, but it's not going to be about that. Today's video is going to be about my view or my review on my very first flight with the airline called Ryanair. I had a chance, and I have to say I am so much surprised of how Ryanair is treating their passengers on board the aircraft. I'm responsibly stating this as my observation was not only towards me and what the cabin crew or how they were treating me, knowing that I'm an ex-crew because I introduced myself. But before I do that, I was closely observing how they are behaving and what is their in-flight service standards when it comes to dealing with all the passengers on board the aircraft. We decided with my husband that we're gonna fly from Berlin to Sofia, and we did it today. So as I'm filming this video, today's 16th of November, and we flew from Berlin Brandenburg Airport to Sofia International Airport, and we were on the flight FR 3380 on a Ryanair flight, and the flying time was around 1 hour and 45 minutes, but so many things happened. I've managed to take videos as much as I could, as much as I needed to actually film this video. And I have to tell you that my previous understanding, or maybe assumptions, if I may say, about the in-flight service of Ryanair was that it's a low-cost airline, and basically, you know, you have to just buy everything that they have on board the aircraft. And I have to say, and I have to apologize and say that I thought that the crew there are not so much caring about their passenger, but trust me guys, it's not at all as you might think. Out there in the aviation world, and from a passenger perspective, we tend to have an understanding, or tend to have assumptions, that low-cost carriers can be lower in their service standards, and the high-cost carriers, traditional airlines or so, have their higher standards just because everything they have on board the aircraft, we're getting it for free, which is not like that. Everything that we're getting on board the aircraft is actually what we have paid, because the tickets are quite more expensive than the ones we're paying with the low-cost carriers. And from a customer service perspective, I got all the demand, or all the opposite on today's flight. And as I'm talking to you, there will be a video that I will be showing it to you, and I will explain my entire overall customer experience and my observation as an ex-cabin crew and a current aviation professional of everything that was happening on board the aircraft of Ryanair flight. So finally, let's start. The very first thing that grabbed my attention since I boarded the aircraft was not the seats, not how clean the aircraft was. I wasn't looking at it, I have to be honest, because everything seems to be that it's in its place, because on Ryanair flight you don't see any pillows, blankets flying around just like you would see on Emirates flight or, I don't know, Etihad Airways. So the first thing over there that grabbed my attention was how wonderful the public announcement sounded. I've touched up on this topic on my personal account where I posted a video regarding of my knowledge and my observation of how a public announcement should be done, because very often when we're passengers on board different flights, we have the feeling that the captain or the cabin crew have their interphone in their mouth, they're talking something and we cannot understand it, and it sounds so terrible. Now, this was my first observation on board this Ryanair flight. A very clear PA and a very proper holding of the interphone. As a matter of fact, I have a video and you will exactly hear how it sounds, and you will see how the cabin crew was holding the interphone properly when making the public announcement.
Thank you very much. Meine Damen und Herren, wir landen in etwa 10 Minuten. Bitte vergewissern Sie sich noch einmal, dass Ihre Sicherheitsgurte alle wirklich sicher angeschnallt und alle Ihre größeren elektronischen Geräte nun sicher für den Landeanflug verstaut sind. Vielen Dank.
One thing that I really loved on board Ryanair flight was that their safety instruction card is on its seat, on the seat itself, and there is no unnecessarily I would say unnecessary, because from a planet perspective, we should reduce as much as we can the use of papers and the use of materials, actually. So we are living in a digitalized world, and I think that in these circumstances, Ryanair has taken a full advantage, because the moment you board the aircraft, you are seeing everything clear in front of your seat. At the moment you sit, actually, there is a barcode which you scan, and you can see your menu, what is the service, what are the items that they're going to be serving, what is the duty free on board the flight. Great prices, by the way, of perfumes and selection of perfumes and other items that were available. And something that grabbed my attention was a very loud and clear explanation of the safety card instructions. And furthermore, I will explain what are the things that grabbed my attention when it comes to the safety card explanation. One of the most explanatory safety cards that I have ever seen, I must admit. It starts with the way how to pull your oxygen masks, explaining to you how to buckle the seat. Then it continues onwards to the fact that you should be the one who's going to be donning the life jacket, and then the next thing is how to don the life jacket for your infant or for your child if you're flying with a child. There is a clear explanation that of the things that are not allowed, what are the exits that are there to be used, and yeah, when it comes to the bracing positions, also they are very clearly explained how you're supposed to be seated in case there is a crash landing. And one thing that I really liked is the place where it is explained what to do in a situation when there is a smoke in the cabin and you need to actually be very low and go low, so you're gonna be getting away from the smoke as much as possible. Also, a very clear explanation that in case of emergency you shouldn't be wearing your shoes, your spectacles, and your luggage should not be with you, how you're supposed to operate the exit row, and how is the sliding done in case there is a slide deployment. One thing that Ryanair emphasized in their public announcement, and it is loud and clear, they say that we're supposed to study the safety instruction card, which is in the seat in front of us, and I think that is great. I have done that for this flight, and I am doing actually on every flight, and this is something that in aviation we always say safety comes comes first. So, ladies and gentlemen, irrespective if you're a cabin crew, an aviation professional, or a passenger, or just an aviation geek, please make it a habit that you are studying the safety card because we are flying with different aircrafts. From a safety demonstration point of view, when you're a cabin crew, it saves a lot of time. Uh, if you're a cabin crew, you know this, but if you're somebody who wants to be a cabin crew, it's good to know that the ground time of every aircraft from the moment they board from the moment the passengers board until takeoff, it's really short unless there is something technical or you're waiting for a connecting passenger, so you would have more time, but usually it's very short. And in this short period of time, you have a public announcement, which is the welcome announcement. You have the safety demonstration, irrespective of the airline you're working for. It can be done in both languages, like in this case it was done in English and German because I was flying from Berlin. If you're in Qatar, it's going to be done in English and Arabic, but all this takes time, and really by the time the cabin crew are finishing, it's like they're already half of the flight. They feel that the half of the flight is done because they're rushing to do it very quickly. And one thing that I observed, that this was not the case with Ryanair flight, because some of the things that they are not covering in their public announcement, they're saying it loud and clear, which is they say, study your safety demonstration card, which is in the seat itself in front of you. So you have no magazines, no things flying around you, no safety card, but everything is there in front of you. So I think that saving the planet with this kind of things and using the digitalized era that we live in, the fact that we have mobile phones and internet and all, is really great. So on this note, again, Ryanair, really excellent done. This should be also a stimulation and a great example for other airlines to follow this do a cost reduction, and of course enhance the passenger experience. Another thing that grabbed my attention is that during the public announcement, they took a courtesy to explain to us where the lavatories are located, how many lavatories are on the front of the aircraft, how many are at the back of the aircraft. Not everyone flies with kids, with family, and is so busy. There are people that are flying alone. They really pay attention to the public announcements. And another thing when it comes to the point of the lavatory is that 10 minutes before we start the descent, there was also another announcement in which they have announced that in 10 minutes we're going to be starting our landing. And if we want to use the lavatories at this time, we're more than welcome to do so. Because simply when the seatbelt sign comes on, we're not allowed to stand. I think this was very nice. This gives a clear instruction to the people. And on an absolutely full flight, ladies and gentlemen, there was no long queues. And I think this is so important because it allows to, if I may say, to the mass of people or to the hundreds of 100 plus people on board the aircraft to actually plan when I will be standing up to go to the toilet. If I see that there are 3, 4, or 5 passengers queuing, I'm not going to be the one who's going to be the 21st person who stands and wait in that long queue. It happened so many times when I was flying as a cabin crew, and especially on a narrow body aircraft, it can be a hassle for the cabin crew from a safety perspective, and also not so pleasant for the other passengers around. So Ryanair, really great job done. Great job done to the cabin crew in delivering loud and clear message on the proper timings during the flight. I will also stick to the public announcements, and I will go to the PA, which was done after takeoff, in which they have clearly explained what are their meal services sequence that they do. I'm not good in remembering, but I think it started with what are they going to be serving. They will be taking the orders first, and they will be coming back because some of the meals, actually, some of the sandwiches have to be heated. How the payment is done, and later on the service started. There was also one thing that I really liked on board the flight. There was a game, so we played a game, sort of like a jackpot thing, where we bought some of the cards for, I don't know, for a particular price. I bought 5 of the cards to play jackpot, and I got one that was winning card. So hopefully I will be eligible for a bigger prize. Let's see. But it was very nice because the cabin crew was standing in the cabin, and it gave that feeling that, oh, something is happening. So let's see, what is it? On a Ryanair flight, usually there's no in-flight entertainment. So I think that playing a game or having something like a jackpot game like this, it's really nice. from a customer perspective, and I think that they also should keep up this game playing on board the aircraft. And I observed that the passengers also liked it. I'm coming to a very important point, which was crucial for me to really, I don't know, enjoy the flight and be very, I would say, happy and positive until the end. Because once a crew, we say you're always a crew. But somewhere at the beginning of the flight, right after takeoff, there was 3 ladies behind me who were sitting and they pressed a call bell. And believe it or not, you might think that on a low-cost carrier, the crew will be slow in answering the call bell, but it's not like that. The call bell was attended immediately, so no assumptions starting from this video, please. The crew was very polite. It was a gentleman. It was a guy who answered the call bell and explained to the passenger request that they will get back to them, and that would happen as well. That happened as well. So that was really nice. There were not many call bells, but to me, the fact that somebody is answering the call bell straight away in the aviation world, and from a crew perspective, we always say that a call bell can be for coke or stroke, so it's really important that we go there and we attend that call bell as soon as possible. So on this note, really, Ryanair, you've did a fantastic job. So clap your hands for Ryanair. I did something that maybe many of you would not expect it, being so observant on the flight, but I wanted to be kind of nice, and you know, my sandwich and coffee and things that I was eating, I wanted to be like take a courtesy and stand up and just throw them myself to the bin, but I didn't realize that the seatbelt sign was on. So I saw the crew that they're in the front of the aircraft, so I went all the way to the front of the aircraft in order to greet them, and I was looking for an opportunity to actually introduce myself. And as I was approaching, the crew was looking at me a bit strange. I could feel that she's looking to me a bit strange, but I was like, oh, I just came to throw this. And she said, Madam, could you please go back to your seat, because the seatbelt sign is on, and as soon as it's off, I will get back to you and I will ask you if you need something or you can come. That was for me like really shocking, because she said she will come to me and she doesn't know where I'm sitting. So I was like, fine, I'll go back to my seat. I also apologized for that. I really felt so stupid, because when the seatbelt sign is on, I am an ex-crew and I'm supposed to know that I'm not supposed to stand up from the seat, and I did it. So yeah, mistakes happen and we all can do the mistakes. So I went back to my seat, and after like 10 minutes or so, I saw the crew coming to me, maybe because I was wearing this pink shirt, so not many on board the aircraft are wearing pink blouses. So she came and she said, Madam, I'm so sorry that, you know, you came and I wasn't able to attend, but do you need something? And I was like, no, I just came, you know, to throw the rubbish. And this was the time I said, I am so sorry, I'm an ex-crew and I didn't realize that the seatbelt sign is on. And then we started talking, which airline you flew for, etc., etc. And it was really, really a great bond between me and the crew. Because the flight time was 1 hour and 45 minutes, we really didn't have much time to talk. But one thing in the cabin crew world that we are all, how to say, we're all very well integrated in, is that we can start a conversation with one another, because we're all so, most of us are with an outgoing personality, and we start talking and we instantly feel that bond between each other, irrespectively. I was flying for Qatar Airways, or she flies for Ryanair. We joked about how was the weather in Qatar, and she also wished me a great flight to Qatar, which is happening tomorrow. I'm flying to Qatar tomorrow from Sofia International Airport to Hamad International Airport on a Qatar Airways flight. And also I'm expecting to make a video on my personal view on how is Qatar Airways in-flight service 4 years after I have left. No, 3, it will be 3.5 years after I have left, I think. So let's go further with some conclusions. I would like to use this video to thank myself personally to everyone in Ryanair flight for making me feel very nice, and I'm sure all over 100 passengers on board today's flight felt that it was completely stress-free flight. And believe it or not, but I'm sure for those of you that are frequent flyers and have flown often, you can see that the interaction among the cabin crew on board the aircraft pretty much determines how the team spirit, or how the spirit of the entire flight is going to be. If there is a tension among the cabin crew, if there is not a proper communication with smiles, with support, with assistance, often you see that one crew needs something and the other one, she or he can check and see immediately if the crew is in a need of something. They're jumping and they're straight away solving the issue. This, from a customer point of view, is so important because it shows engagement and it shows anticipation. If I have a problem, I can rely on these people. They together are going to help me in solving my problem, my query, answering my question, etc., etc. So this flight was great. The senior and the cabin crew members were absolutely one team on board the aircraft. Great job in terms of cabin crew training that Ryanair has done. I only can say, please keep it up. I will be flying a few more times with Ryanair on future flights that I have previously planned. So I'm really looking forward to see how my future in-flight experience is going to be. But one thing that I want to, or I'm saying to myself, is that I should never generalize. Just because one flight was great, the other flight doesn't mean that it's going to be great, but I'm going to be keeping my eyes open for any further observations. So today's flight, which was FR33 or Foxtrot Romeo 3380, was great. And I think that the cabin crew on board that flight deserve to be complimented, and I'm certainly looking forward to see the same standards on board all the flights of Ryanair. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this video, and I think that I'm going to be activating myself a bit more in terms of reviews, my onboard reviews as a passenger, and also in other topics which are related, how you can become a member of any cabin crew team for any airline that you wish for, or how you can shift departments in the airline industry. The next video, for sure, it's going to be from Qatar. So until then, make sure you have been subscribed to my YouTube channel and stay tuned. Bye bye and have a nice day.